Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm here tonight with Anne and Dylan from our board and Janice, who is our government affairs consultant. So we are going to get right into things tonight with our board chat. I'm going to welcome Anne to share some information that she's prepared to go over with us tonight.
Well, this happened to be an exciting couple of weeks for cannabis. First, we picked up some states, which always kind of puts the pressure on North Carolina to get in line with everybody else. But even locally, it's been really good. The conversation has finally come around to cannabis. When Governor Cooper's task force for racial equity in criminal justice opened up their website to hear from us, we jumped on it and we really advocated pointing out the problems of cannabis being a criminal act to inequity. And it paid off because they have recommended to the General Assembly to change up to 1.5 ounces of cannabis as a civil citation, automatically expunging and recommending more study about medical cannabis.
And legalization.
And their members were 80% of the members supported those recommendations, and the members were law enforcement, justice officials, and legislators. So that was really a good thing to happen to us. Our challenge will be to keep it bipartisan. North Carolina cannot does not have a voter referendum. So the only path is through the legislature and the General Assembly. So we have been developing a strategy that still holds with this election, in that there are two different worldviews. The more rural, and we use terms like liberty, and then the more urban, talking about science and justice, that those were things that they would respond to. We've really done a good job because in less than a year, the Attorney General, Josh Stein, has moved from an unknown or not against, but not out there supporting us, and has ended up advocating. He just twittered that we can't have criminal equity, justice equity, without decriminalizing cannabis, and he's pushing for medical study, medical research. And legislators who have avoided discussing cannabis are now talking about introducing bills and what aspects of cannabis that we can improve the situation for. Unfortunately, our cannabis supporter that ran for Secretary of Agriculture, Jen Wadsworth, did not win. But we have some new Republicans that support or open to some sort of action on cannabis. Of the General Assembly, it hasn't changed. The partisanship hasn't changed much. Most of the incumbents ran again and won, and they were filled, if they resigned to go to retire or to an higher office, those positions were filled with people in their own party. So the Republicans still retained control. Our success depends on making it truly bipartisan and appeal to more conservative folks. And we've got some good arguments. The opioid crisis, the personal liberty of people to have a choice, and so forth. So we're ready to go. Let me look at my notes. Oh, the other good thing that happened is Mexico is going to look at legalizing cannabis. So that's fun too. Some of you probably are frustrated that none of the bills in the past have been heard in committee, and I understand that frustration, but lobbying wise and legislative strategy wise is you don't want to have your issue voted down unless you can get the votes in the committee. So we really need to get the committee votes supported and the House supported before we push for a hearing on cannabis. And the process moves fast, so a bill will be heard in committee and it could then be heard within 3 days on the floor of the House or the floor of the Senate. So the reality is we need a majority of legislators that support whatever bill is going to come out of that committee to make sure it passed. Otherwise, you're looking like a defeat, and you want to avoid that. There are 4 things that I would like to request of you. One is to do the training. We're going to offer advocacy training again in December and January. Go to the website and look at the nuggets. And in the nuggets, there'll be a list of opportunities to sign up for the training. If you can't do that, we have the videos on the website with a summary underneath. So you won't get the discussion and be able to ask questions like you would in live training, but it will give you a basis of information. We need people to talk personally to their legislators to make the importance of cannabis a real life story. And if you're not comfortable saying, I use cannabis, you can say, my cousin has it and she's got the same kind of health condition I do, and she's in a legal state and she can use cannabis and it works. You know, something like that, but make it a real story of what happens in your life. But I understand you feeling the need to protect your identity. The other thing is we're going to be sending out action alerts, and it's important for legislators to hear from us every week that there are people out here that want them to act on cannabis legalization. And email your suggestions to us. The email address is on the website. We'd like to hear from you. And I'm at the point now where I want to collect good quotes for the newspaper and so forth. So if you have any good quotes or points to make, send them to us. I'm going to turn it over to Ann now because she's delved into we're partners dealing with the legislature. So she's got lots to say too.
Well, thank you, Jan. And we have been working on this, it feels like nonstop for the past 6 months, and finally coming up to breathe, coming up for air. The really good news is that about 25 of the previous co-sponsors and sponsors in the House who have sponsored either a medical marijuana bill or a further decriminalization bill were all reelected. They're going back to Raleigh, and the about 8 or so senators who have recently started sponsoring bills, medical or decriminalization, have also been reelected. And looking at, we did have some, losses. We had Senator Erica Smith had been a pretty faithful sponsor. She'd co-sponsored 3 bills, and she opted to run for the Senate, and of course lost that race. She's going to be replaced by Ernestine Bazemore, whom we don't yet know a lot about, and that is in District 3. Senator Terry Van Dyne from the Asheville region, District 49, had sponsored one major medical marijuana bill and a hemp extract bill, and she opted to run for lieutenant governor and, of course, lost during the primary. She'll be replaced by Sarah Crawford. No, Sarah Crawford actually picked up District 18 due to redistricting. So that's good news. We've got a lot of new Republicans. They picked up, in the House, I think, or in the Senate, picked up 1 Democratic position. But there are a lot of Republicans going back. And I have delved a little bit into, how many of these younger Republicans newly going into the House or Senate are going to have said that they would co-sponsor or support medical marijuana. And we're going to be sharing that information out in a blog post within the next few days. But it is very, very exciting. And of course, as Jen mentioned, we've got these advocacy trainings that we hope that you will consider attending. There's always a possibility that we can hold more, I guess, in the future. But I love this quote from Jan today. In summary, to get cannabis legalized in North Carolina, every activist, every supporter must talk to their elected officials, and we're going to be using the DRIP method. Drip, drip. Visualize a rock and drips of water dripping, dripping, dripping constantly, wearing away the rock. And if we start now, the more drops that we have, the sooner we will get to where we want to go. This task force recommendation is going to be huge. And, there's some days I compare this, I don't know if y'all are familiar with, I call it the myth of Sisyphus, where the guy starts out in the morning pushing a boulder, pushing a boulder, pushing a boulder up the mountain. And every evening it rolls back down, but he keeps going back and pushing. And really that's kind of where we're at. I think we're starting to see some hopeful glimmers of light, and that 2021 maybe the start of something big here in North Carolina. And throwing it back to y'all.
That's awesome. Thank you both so much for sharing. So as you can tell, we're really excited. We've been reviewing what's worked really well for us in 2020, and we're looking to build upon that in 2021. So we really appreciate everyone who's gone through and filled out the survey, because of course your feedback is really important in assisting with all of the plans that we're creating and our strategic planning currently. So for anyone who did go through and fill out that form, your sticker of appreciation is on the way. And then also, as we are finalizing our priorities for 2021, there's so much to do. We need all hands on deck. So however much time you have available, if you have 5 minutes, if you have 5 hours a month, that will really make a difference. And then I'm sorry, I know, Jan, thank you very much for joining us this evening. I know that you were here briefly, so just want to say before you hop off, we really appreciate you being here tonight.
Thank you much. Love working with you guys.
Yeah, thanks, Jan. Have a good evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
I'm not sure if Ann just disconnected there, but it's all you now, Lauren. Oh, here she is. She's back. All right. Hey, there you are.
So yes, if you have 5 minutes, if you have 5 hours, whatever time that you have available to contribute, we have varying levels of ways that you can get involved. Of course, you've heard about our advocacy training events that we'll have coming up. We do have those listed, and we do like to post about those on our social media, so you can stay on top of getting involved with one of those trainings that will work best for you. We also have opportunities where you can volunteer your time to work on one of our committees. So the way that you get involved in volunteering your time through one of our committees is we have an orientation session every second Sunday of the month, where we will go over our tools and invite you to join us. We'll talk about our different committees and ways that you can get plugged in, and just fill out our Get Involved form on our website. If you look at the header on the website, just get involved and you can enter your information in that form. So please do fill that out and RSVP for our next orientation session coming up Sunday, December 13th. Also want to give a shout out tonight to our newest gold level member. So Lowell, we really thank you for supporting cannabis reform here in North Carolina. And then also on our website, if you go on our website, ncnormal.org, if you go to the upper right-hand corner of our website, excuse me, dying.
I'll take over while Lauren recovers. I will share the website screen here if you give me just a second, so I can walk through what Lauren was trying to show us.
I'm so sorry, everyone. Yes, Dylan, if you could pull up our website. In the upper right-hand corner of the website, you can see now where it says get involved. I'm sorry, the NC Cannabis story. You can select to share your NC Cannabis story. You can see where we've had several different people upload their stories, really compelling reasons why they support cannabis reform. So really great to kind of read through some of the compelling reasons that other fellow cannabis advocates have provided for supporting cannabis reform in North Carolina, as well as to share your story. And then also make sure that you are following us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, so that you can make sure that you're staying involved. Also make sure that you have, again, filled out that get involved form on our website to sign up for our weekly emails. We do send out weekly ways that you can get involved, again, for 5 minutes of your time, all the way up to volunteering for one of our committees or advocacy trainings. And then lastly, after you've signed up for our email list, be on the lookout for our 2020 report and our 2021 strategic plan to show how we are going to accomplish the big goal of legalization. So that covers really our updates for the night. And do you have anything that you want to add or let anyone know this week? Well,
No, I was just looking. I was just looking at our Facebook page, and I saw that we had a question or comment here. Get to that again. Hold on, and scroll down here. From Jared, I think it is. Let me see. Hi, Jared, if you're still there. He was just commenting that in South Carolina, he had a hard time getting through to his legislators. And we, hear that a lot. We are hoping that we are starting to, as I said, the drip method, that we are starting to have an influence here. And we do hope that you will want to get involved and will want to reach out to us as to how to the best way to talk with your legislators. So sorry, I just now pulled that up and just saw that comment, but we appreciate you reaching out. Let me see if I can see any other comments here. Let's see. I don't.
I'll jump in to say appreciate, the updates, Lauren, and that looking forward to promoting and sharing that strategic plan as we continue to work through that, and look forward to next month for another Third Thursday chat.
Great. Thanks, everyone.